Welcome to Mi Camino, a series where we talk with UC San Diego alumni about their paths through education and beyond. Today we're sitting down with Araceli Cervantes, an alumni who explored her lifelong passion for dance at UC San Diego and became a world champion with an impressive number of titles under her belt. Welcome, Araceli.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. I thought maybe we could start off by having you describe Latin dance for us.
Yeah, Latin dance is comprised of so many different styles. There's son, bomba. It comes a lot from the Afro styles as well. And then there's also roots within Puerto Rico, Colombia, many different Latin countries as well. And there's on one and on two for salsa. That's just the step that you start in. So it's just a really nice mix of just so many different styles that have combined into its own mesh of styles, and it's beautiful.
It just sounds like it represents the entire Latin diaspora across the world.
It does, it does. There's definitely so many aspects and so many cultures that have embraced it all and really brought their flavor into that.
Wonderful. Well, let's talk a little bit about how you found yourself here at UC San Diego. What was that transition like? How did you find yourself here?
Yeah, I actually ended up coming on Triton Day, just coming on campus, exploring it. And I wanted to stay in San Diego. I'm born and raised here in San Diego. And when I arrived, I just really had that feeling of feeling welcome and feeling like it was the right place for me. And I also had the opportunity to do summer bridge as well, where I was able to stay on campus in the on-campus housing for a month. And I also got to take 2 classes that I got credit for. And we also got to do activities as well, get to know the campus, get to know fellow Tritons. So it was a great chance to get to know, again, the campus and the community. And I really felt so welcome here.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you had a great experience. You know, Summer Bridge, maybe we could talk a little bit more about that. Did you make some lifelong connections out of Summer Bridge?
Yeah, there was some people I stayed in contact with, to this day, some of them as well, and just, really building those connections and continuing them on. I actually also saw some recently at an alumni conference. I'm also part of the San Diego Regional Club. I'm one of the leaders that runs the social media as well as the events. So it was really nice to reconnect with some of them as well and kind of see what they're up to. So I think it's really like a long-lasting community that continues even to this day.
Wonderful. So it sounds like you're also very engaged as an alum.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, ever since, after I graduated, at the time there was a scholarship, an alumni scholarship that was given out, and I was able to look through those applications and help with the process of choosing who would obtain those. And then we would have a thank you with the Triton brunch at the faculty club. So ever since then, I've been really active with the community. I just participated in a panel last night as well, where we help students just kind of navigate through what it would look like for careers and some advice that would help them in the long run.
It must be nice to be in the mentor role now. I imagine maybe you had some mentors when you were an undergraduate here?
Yeah, I did. So I definitely stayed connected, like I said, with the Summer Bridge folks as well. They had resources that we were able to continue to use. They had their center that we had access to. Definitely loved my mentors in the theater and dance department as well. Some of them are still here as well. One of them that comes to mind that I loved a lot that I still stay in connection with is Robert Castro in the theater department. Got to see him a couple years ago as well as at an event, and he still remembered me, and he was always very encouraging as well, and gave me a recommendation as well when I was looking to do a lot more of the creative aspect of things. So I think it's just a great community here at UC San Diego.
Yeah, I agree. Robert's an awesome guy. So
yeah,
I'm glad to hear that he was one of your mentors.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what you actually came and studied here, and how did your passion for dance begin? Was that something that you did as a young child, or did it really get ignited at UC San Diego? Yeah,
so I decided to major in psychology. At that time, I thought I wanted to do clinical psychology. And then actually I ended up rerouting. It was very interesting. I just thought I needed to be on a different trajectory. Mm-hmm. And I was also working in human resources for the housing and dining department. So that's how I ended up going that route. And with the theater and dance, I started dancing when I was very little, family parties and so on. More of my technical training started when I was about 10 years old. I did ballet folklorico, which was a lot of fun. That was through my school. And then I went on to high school. I did my high school dance team. We got to travel to Disneyland and be part of assemblies and school events, which was so much fun. And then coming into UC San Diego, I started doing a lot more dance classes as well. Took hip hop, jazz, salsa, and that's where my passion for Latin dance ignited a lot more. I had that again growing up, but did more of the technical aspects, took the Latin dances of the world class, and really fell in love with it. And then automatically started doing performing with a local team at the time called Salsa Inferno, which was run by the teacher Tony Calighagan and his wife at the time, Maria. So I really got more into that, and that started off the Latin dance journey.
Well, what I find most fascinating is that you're a world champion, and maybe you could talk a little bit about what that's like to come to UC San Diego, study psychology, and all of a sudden you find yourself a world champion in Latin dance. Like, how did you balance and manage that? I'm sure that, once you graduated, you probably had a job that was not related to dance.
Right. Yeah. So I think, dance has always been a part of my life. It's always been something that I've loved to have part of my life. So yes, life can be very demanding, of course. Even while I was here at school, I was juggling the schoolwork, being on the dance team, being in dance performances, working as well part-time in the HR department. And I've always been that way since I was very young. I was raised by a single mom who had to work, full-time, and I would be in a lot of activities like karate, cheerleading, sports, pretty much anything, just to keep myself busy. So it comes as, second nature to me. Mm-hmm. It's just how I've lived my life. So I really embrace that, and I continue to do that to this day. I, have a calendar, I have a schedule, I make sure I get everything done. And it really is, it's become an art, I feel like. Some people tell me, I don't know how you do it, and I'm like, you just make it happen. But yeah, I think dance, again, has always been something important to me, and competing became even more important to me after I was performing, and I was like, what's next? I'm always very goal-oriented, and I want to make sure, like, what else can I do? What's the next step? So I, was trying to figure out the financial part of it. Like, okay, I might not have enough money at the time, but let me figure it out. My dance instructor worked with me in that aspect, and we made it happen. Got really close to placing the first couple of times. I got 0.12 of a point, 0.18 of a point, so close. At that point, I was very devastated, and I'm like, do I still want to do this? And I, had to kind of get myself back into perspective and be like, yes, this is important to me. So I became more strategic, started working even harder, more training. And that third time was a charm, and I ended up placing and getting my first 4 medals, which was very rewarding. And I kind of learned, what was required to continue to be successful. So I continued on competing and won more titles.
I'm glad you shared the story of just falling short, because I think sometimes when we come to a university that is as rigorous and prestigious as UC San Diego, we might occasionally fall short of like what we have in mind. And it's nice for you to share that happens. It's normal. You regroup, you get some advice from somebody like a mentor, and you just apply yourself again, and you wind up succeeding. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. I think it's important to know that, like you said, it's important to know it's okay to reroute or to reframe or to kind of think about, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And how do I get there? And really get that action plan going. And, there will be obstacles along the way. Like you said, in school, life in general, it's one big roller coaster, but you just have to figure it out and keep going.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about your transitioning from being an active competitor to now doing more of the business side of the dance competitions. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I actually started doing a lot more event planning, event coordination, which I've had in my bag for a little while, and I really enjoy working with people and making their visions come alive when it comes to events. So I've been involved in being a staff liaison for some congresses, most recently the Los Angeles Hustle Congress and the Las Vegas Super Congress. So basically I help the dance professionals with their contracts, make sure that they have what they need prior to the event, transportation, hotels, etc. And then just making sure that they have a good experience. I'm their point of contact. If they need anything, I'm there for them. And then while we're at the event, also making sure everything goes smoothly with the event itself and with the dance professionals. So it really, again, comes back to being, kind of like an art form again for me. I feel like in a way I kind of treat everything in that aspect. And it's been really rewarding to be on the event side as well.
That's great. Now you minored in dance, but maybe you could share a little bit about if you're a student and maybe don't want to minor in dance, but you have a passion for dance, how you might still be able to keep that passion alive and experience it. Like, for example, I know that there are several student organizations. Were there any dance student organizations?
Yeah, so I was actually involved in the UCSD Salsa Club, which was student run, and they would have a class a week, I believe, and then just bringing, a different space, because sometimes it can be a little intimidating to be maybe in a class, full of people that you might feel a bit more judged, but when it's student run, it might be a little easier, get to know them. I think it's good to get out of your comfort zone and learn something new, right? And it's also really good for your exercise and for your mental health. And I think it's always good to just explore. It might not be, your major, your minor, but, sometimes there'd be a lot of like engineers in the classes as well, and it's getting them away from maybe their usual way of thinking. And it gives you a different perspective as well. And I think it also helps you build cultural awareness. So I would say, just take a class or, even if you take one class or, and see, do I like this? Is it fun? It can just be a recreational activity. It doesn't have to be a full commitment. But if you find passion in it, explore and see, and maybe something more will come out of it after that.
Yeah, definitely. So in addition to the dance community, did you find any other communities here at UC San Diego that you were part of?
Yeah, I also was very close in the theater department as well. I loved a visual class I took, a video arts class. Really fell in love with it. Had access to a little space as well for my sound design class.
Oh, nice.
And then I got to be part of a production, Titus Andronicus, and we got to be part of the crew. It's a requirement to do a practicum as a minor or a major for theater and dance, and really found a community within those folks as well. And we had some tough times. Unfortunately, we lost someone. He passed away very young. And we all came together and we actually helped raise money for his, funeral services and stuff like that. And I feel like that also gave us, more of a closeness and a close-knit community, because we had to go through that, in the middle of the production and kind of honoring him with, completing that production.
Yeah, that's great. It's so important to have a community to support you through your endeavors. And my next question for you is really, what advice might you give to somebody who's contemplating coming to UC San Diego?
Yeah, my biggest advice would definitely be coming on campus, making sure it's the right fit for you, looking into the programs that you're thinking of, studying, and just seeing, how do you feel in this space? Get to know some faculty, some students. Also so important to connect with alumni as well. How was your experience? Like, what were the pros and cons, et cetera. Get the information, do your research. It's so important because you're going to be spending 2 to 4 years here on campus. So you want to make sure that it's the right fit for you.
And you came here for 4 years, or were you?
I did. I was here for 4 years. Yes, right out of high school.
Right out of high school.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier Triton Day. Mm-hmm. So what was that like for you? For our viewers who are listening, Triton Day is a big event that we put on at UC San Diego to really help students become very familiar with everything that we offer.
Yeah.
And it's very celebratory in nature. What was that like for you? And I imagine maybe your mom was with you and you were at campus.
Yeah, so it was actually me and my mom. I can actually go back to that day actually in my mind now. And I remember myself walking around Warren College, because that was the one I got accepted into, and walking around the lecture halls, wanting to do the tours, wanting to look at the, the residential housing, and just being so excited about the next chapter, because for me, I was, second in my class. At that time, not that many people went to college, and I was, lucky enough to be one of those people. My grandma immigrated our whole family here and always wanted us to, have an education. And she was always so proud of me for, coming to UCSD and also getting to study abroad in Greece as well, in theater and dance as well. So it was great to be able to fulfill that and, love the experience here at UC San Diego.
Yeah. And graduation, I imagine, was just a great time for your mom and your grandma and you. And Yes, it was great, getting the family together. I don't think I've seen that big of a smile on my mom's face. I still have that photo, on my social media, and I usually use it for like Mother's Day, and sharing it. And she was very proud of me, and she did her best as a single mom and
to see that, that I was able to accomplish that and be a first-generation college student was a huge accomplishment for me and for my family.
Yeah. And for students who might be contemplating careers in dance, any specific advice you might want to give them?
Yeah, I would say, follow your passion. If dance is your passion, put in the work, take the time, and, sometimes it can be difficult to go that route. But if you really are passionate and you do the work, you put the time in, it really can be possible, and I really do believe that.
Wonderful. It's been so great talking to you, Araceli. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.